welcome to the Badass Breastfeeding Podcast. This is Diane, your lactation consultant.
And I'm Abby, the Badass Breastfeeder, and today's episode is brought to you by Davin and Adley. And we're going to hear all episode from Amanda Hunt about Davin and Adley. So you can head to badassbreastfeedingpodcast.com and check out our sponsor page, all of our other sponsors that we've had. If you ever need anything, see if you can give them your business because they make this podcast possible. And while you're there, scroll down and enter your email address and we'll send you episodes straight to your inbox every week. And also at badassbreastfeedingpodcast.com, you'll find all of our other 400 episodes, as well as information about scheduling your very own one-on-one online lactation consultation with Diane. And we are on Patreon, and we would like it if you would click the top link in the show notes under this episode, wherever you're listening from, and check out the tiers there. We're hanging out with people and we're having a really good time getting to know each other. And we're still hosting our review giveaway of people who leave reviews around the internet, wherever you can, whatever it is, words or stars or thumbs ups or whatever they have out there. I don't know. Take a screenshot, send it to badassbreastfeedingpodcast@gmail.com along with your address, and we will send you we will send you a goodie. We won't send you more episodes. We'll send you a goodie bag of podcast stickers and thank you for nursing in public cards. So that's really fun. And I think that's all I have to say. And Diane has our review of the week.
I do. And it says, as a first-time mom, I'm so grateful I found this informative podcast. Thank you for sharing so many topics on breastfeeding. I've been sharing with fellow pregnant and mama friends. So thank you so much. I meet a lot of people who say, oh my gosh, I share your podcast with so many people and I share it with a lot of, with other mom friends. And that is so important to make sure that you're sharing the information. So
the good
thank
information.
you so much for doing that. Yeah. Thank you so much for doing that for us. And good luck with your babe. And thanks for listening.
Yeah.
And we sent you stickers and cards.
Oh, yay. Yes. Yeah, we are doing it. So, it happens. So people send us and we do it. So don't be shy. Don't think that you're the only one in the world who's doing it.
No, don't think.
We want to send them out.
Right now. So we're in the middle. Well, we just started, not quite in the middle of a kitchen remodel.
Oh, right.
And one of the construction guys has this water bottle with stickers all over it. I want to slap one of our stickers on it. I'm pretty tempted. So I might be like, hey.
That's cool. Usually you just see the ladies with all the stickers.
Yeah,
I like it that a dude's got all his. What?
Yeah.
I love reading people's stickers. I'm like, you can totally figure out what kind of person they are from their stickers. I mean, at least mine, because every single one of my opinions is on my bottle of water.
Absolutely.
So today we're talking to Amanda Hunt from Davin and Adley, owner and founder. And let's say hello to her.
Yeah.
Welcome, Amanda, to the podcast. We're so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me today.
So your name is Amanda Hunt, and you are the owner and founder of Davin and Adley Nursing and Pumping Wear.
Yes, we specialize in nursing and pumping combo bras. We also have tank tops, camis, and postpartum recovery underwear. So a little bit of everything for the maternity through postpartum phase.
That's awesome. And let's go back. How does one become a founder of an amazing nursing wear company?
So I actually used to be a technical designer for the Free People, Urban Outfitters, Anthropology.
Get out of here.
Yeah,
that's
actually my history was there. I was there for over 13 years and I specialized in their intimates department. I ran the intimates line for all of the three brands. But when I became a mom and I had my first baby, it almost became the joke of the intimates department that, oh, Amanda's wearing these ugly nursing bras. And it really hit me hard as a new mom being like, why am I being so sectioned out here? Why do I have to wear the ugly, gross bra? I should be able to wear the pretty, beautiful bras too and be able to both nurse and pump. And I was squeezing in my pumping sessions between bra fittings and design meetings. And it was a really hard challenge. So that's kind of how I started coming up with ideas of things I would do differently. And since I already had the knowledge and expertise, I had gone to design school and I was doing this for a career. I was like, do we not have something better for breastfeeding? So that's kind of how I got all the ideas. And then I've been doing this now for 5 years on my own. So I am.
That's really interesting because I was, not any kind of fashion person. So when I had a baby, it was just sort of like I was wearing what I was comfortable with and, what I could find. And, I was a little disappointed sometimes in like how frumpy and ugly things were. But like coming from from the fashion industry and having that be like really a part of your identity and like you're just like that's just what you do and wear and you're that's your world. And then to have to wear this stuff that's just like it almost feels like it's you're not yourself.
Exactly. That was a big part of it for me. I love beautiful clothing. I design beautiful clothing and I felt like I wasn't able to participate now that I'm a mom, and that did not sit well with me. So I took it upon myself to fix all those problems for not just myself, but for moms everywhere. So that's really how I got started with it. But I used my own personal nursing and pumping journey as a test for the product to see what I could do better, how I could improve upon it. So my oldest is 9, and we're talking back in the days before all these wearable pumps hit the market.
Yeah.
The very first collection cups had just launched. I had gotten the Freemie cups, and there was not a single bra available on the market designed for collection cups. So I was playing around myself with all these different sports bras, trying to figure out how the hell am I supposed to get these cups to fit in my bra, actually suction, not leak milk all over my clothes. And there was no good solution. And this was back when most moms were using the zipper bandeaus, the Medela strap-on thing. That was really all that was out there in the market. So this struggle of, I'm working in a professional setting. I need to pump quickly. I only have barely 20 minutes to get to the pump room, set up, get myself changed, get back to my desk, make sure I have all my milk stored properly and everything. There's just too many tasks to fumble around with a fussy bra that didn't actually work for the pump that I was using. So that's where I really wanted to come in and start attacking the pain points for moms to get them something that's going to work faster and more efficiently and help, express breast milk the most efficient way possible.
So did this started with your first child?
I started the ideas with my first, and then it took me a while, of course, to get to the point of like, all right, I'm going to finally do this. So I had my second son in 2019. And that's when I finally decided, all right, like I cannot do this any longer. I'm having the same struggles as I did with my oldest. And I finally got the confidence to say, I'm going to start my own business. So I had a 3-month-old and I decided to go for it and start fully designing the collection. I got my business license in LLC, and I actually have 2 patents for styles on my collection. Filed all of that, and I launched during the pandemic in 2020.
Oh my God.
It was a wild
This is a strong business because it didn't only last the pandemic, it started in the pandemic and has lasted. That's amazing.
The interesting part about launching during a pandemic was moms did not actually have the option to go find nursing and pumping bras in stores.
True.
Stores were shut down. Moms had very limited resources and they turned to online as their only option. And it actually, in a weird way, I think really helped jumpstart us forward because I was using social media as a communication to get the word out. And I had the ability to just ship the product out. So it worked out really well in the long run. I think really being able to connect with moms and build a community online and help them understand like why I'm doing what I'm doing and to help them with their breastfeeding journeys.
Yeah, I mean that certainly changed the landscape, and you think back to the pandemic, and there was like so much trauma around it, but it really for parents, I feel like there was so much support that switched to online, like even just like online lactation consultations, online support groups, and all of this stuff that was really helpful. But also, like when you have a new baby, you're like you don't want to go anywhere.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
like, how am I supposed to get everybody dressed and go to this support group? Like, like maybe I would, but it just seems like too much. And so, yeah, being able to do that online is really cool. So you must have worked then through the breastfeeding pumping journeys with all three of your kids.
I did. So I had my third son during one of the COVID outbreaks in 2021. And there was no in-person lactation then. Even in the hospital, I only got seen for about maybe 5 minutes by one lactation consultant. She threw some gel pads at me and said, "Latch looks good." Ended up having a very severe tongue tie, and his latch was so bad. Yeah, his latch was so bad that I was bleeding with blisters. And I knew, because it was my third time, something is wrong. So I had to turn to online lactation support during the pandemic to get the answers that I needed. There wasn't anyone in person doing like breastfeeding meetups or any type of support groups. And that's the kind of stuff that helped me out with my first. But with that whole time frame with moms, everything turned to online. But I am so grateful that there are lactation consultants doing these online consults to still give you that postpartum care that you need.
Yeah, I know. And it's so frustrating that the one lactation consultant that you did see, and that was like my experience with the lactation consultant in the hospital too. It's like very little help. And I think it's just maybe just like the atmosphere of the hospital, or the culture of a hospital is just sort of like get them in and get them out.
Yeah. I think a lot of
Go ahead.
I was going to say a lot of the hospitals are just understaffed. It's not necessarily their fault, but you might have one or two. They got to see everybody, and they don't have time to really get into the one-on-one struggles that you get when you do a one-on-one consult. So I do really see the need for, after you get home from the hospital, having that one-on-one postpartum care.
Yeah, I remember Diane saying that when during the pandemic, your stay in the hospital was shortened. So people were at home seeking like at-home lactation consultants, and things were a little bit more helpful because they were home faster. Dealing with the problems and getting all that straightened out in your home instead of in the hospital, where it's just very hard to deal with anything because it's not your home environment.
Yeah,
anyway, and that's sort of an aside, but I thought it was interesting.
Right. No, it definitely is. But I wanted to talk today also about some of the common issues with bras during this phase. And
I was going to ask you, that's what I wanted to transition into. I wanted to say, like, because you say this whole thing came from your own experiences. And so I'm really interested in how did you your design problems, or how did you address those?
So my first kind of experience with nursing bras, let's just start there. I went to Target like everybody else, and I picked out a nursing bra right off the shelf from Target, and I said, this is going to be perfect for me. Did I know that my breasts were going to grow 3 inches between when I was pregnant and then when my milk came in? No, I had no clue what was going on. So not only did that first nursing bra have an underwire, it was also very structured and didn't have any stretch to it. So it didn't even fit me by the time I actually had my first son. And it was the most uncomfortable and painful bra. I didn't even end up using it. It was a complete waste of money. And it was my first effort at, this is what a nursing bra is supposed to be. It's supposed to have the little plastic clip. It's supposed to look a certain way. So one of my first tips I would say to a new mom listening is, you do not want to just get a normal everyday bra that looks like what you're currently wearing and has a nursing clip. That is not going to work. I had done a poll with my community. 3 out of 4 moms responded that their breast size changed at least 1 to 2 inches by the time their milk came in. If they were to like say from pre-pregnancy to postpartum, at least 1 to 2 inches. That's going to make an underwire bra fit you really poorly. And that wire is going to then start digging into your milk ducts all the way around your breast tissue. So there's a lot of controversy on whether to wear an underwire or not while breastfeeding. Underwires are specific. They're very sized. That's why underwires come in various sizes all the way from like A through L cup, M cup. They just have so many specifics to them. Your breast can change like 3 inches throughout the day when your milk comes in versus then when you've pumped or nursed and you're empty. You don't want to have a structured bra that's going to impact your milk ducts. Like it's just always going to be better to go with something that is a multi-size, multi-use, very soft and stretchy, something that's going to change with you as you grow. So that's like definitely like step one. So when it comes to like adjustability and sizing, you want to look for something that has a really great stretch to it, something that's going to have adjustable straps that you can slide up and down when you need to change that support level. A lot of moms will use more cup depth overnight when they're fuller. And then after they've had a nursing session or a pumping session, their breast tissue is much smaller. And then they need a little bit more of a tighter lift and fit. So you want to give that adjustability. It's going to allow you to use that bra for a longer period of time than just a short period of time. Another great
kind of, I'm sorry, is there any kind of material that you like have found to be, better than others?
Yeah, you really need at this phase something that has spandex or lycra it's going to give you stretch and support. I know a lot of moms really want to lean towards these like organic and natural fibers, and that's great. But if they're not blended with something that has this really great stretch and recovery, like a lycra type yarn, it's going to lose its ability to support. It's going to sag. It's not going to give you what you need. And your breast tissue is very heavy and weighs down when you are filled with milk and you are lactating. So if you don't have something that's going to support your breast tissue, that's going to be a whole nother realm of issues. And if something,
so it might be worth really sacrificing that at this time.
Yeah, you
like
really.
Sorry, go ahead. If you're really into that kind of thing, that's great. But maybe just taking a break for like 6 months or something is okay.
I would say the most important thing right now is breast health and making sure that you're not wearing something that's too restricting and something that's going to impact the purpose here. And that's your breasts producing breast milk. You know, that's the number one focus at this phase of your life. And I think a lot of moms don't realize how many changes there's going to be to their breast anatomy, to their breast size and shape. Like, you don't think of that when you're pregnant. You expect, you know, whatever, like they make change. I don't know. Like, I don't even think I even thought about it when I was pregnant the first time, right?
That is such a big thing. Cause I don't think people, when you're pregnant, you don't think about this. All you're thinking about is the birth, right? You're like, oh my God, I got to get through this birth. What's the birth going to be like? Where are we going to birth? Who are we going to birth with? Who's going to be there? What kind of birthing, techniques are we going to use? Nobody thinks about breastfeeding at this time. Cause I mean, like for me, the birth just seemed so big. I was like, I can't. I don't have to worry about that later because I got to put all my mental energy into this.
Yeah, I think my focus was really on like, am I going to be able to push this baby out?
Yeah,
what's the labor going to be like? Yeah, like is my water going to break? Like I was more concerned about that. And then I expected breastfeeding was just going to be natural and the baby would just latch on and have no problems at all. Yeah. I mean, don't we all think that with our first?
Yeah, breastfeeding is just natural. It'll happen.
Not a single one of my kids latched immediately day one in the hospital. Not a single one of them. There was always some kind of complication to it. And that's actually why I'm so passionate about combo nursing and pumping bras. And this is another big thing for me is I didn't have a pumping bra when I went into the hospital with my oldest. I only expected to nurse. And what ended up happening was my first son had a very lazy latch. He would just kind of like sit there, but not actually engage the milk flow and like really have a good suction. And with lactation, it was there to help and support, but I ended up having to get the additional suction from the pump immediately because nothing was happening. I wasn't transferring anything from the nipple through to the feeding. So I had worked with lactation for weeks, but they had me hooked up to the pump way soon. I hadn't even opened my pump. It was still in the box. And they had to do it for me because I didn't know what I was doing. But if I had thought this could potentially have happened, I would have been more prepared. So back then, one of the tricks in the hospital, and I don't know if they still do this today, but they took one of the belly bands and they cut holes. And that's how they like helped hook the pump up to me in the hospital.
Oh my God.
Every time I had to pump, they would come in and like remind me, like if I wasn't going to be like nursing directly, we had to pump. And they would just like pull this belly band thing up and cut the holes. And I was like, it was just such an experience, the whole thing. But if I had known and maybe there were pumping and nursing bras back then, I wouldn't have had to even deal with that. So fast forward to my third, because I had already started the business and I was already a year in, I had brought my cami with me, and the cami is like a nursing and pumping combo cami. So I was trying to latch, but then his latch, I knew it was bad. I could just tell. I ended up then pulling the cami part up and there's pumping slits underneath. So I was able to put the pump in between trying to practice with him in the latch and stuff. And it just was a night and day experience from the first time to my last time. Definitely something to think about for moms. If you may think that nursing is going to be it for you guys, but sometimes the world has different plans than we expect.
Yeah.
So having the preparations ahead of time is something I would strongly suggest for anyone who is like just getting their information and they haven't quite made a decision yet. You don't want to put yourself in a position where you spent all this money buying nursing bras, but not a single one of them can actually hold a pump. And then you end up pumping and maybe the bra that you get doesn't actually fit the pump that you bought. And there's just so many different things that you don't know what you're going to expect. You have to kind of be prepared for a little bit of everything.
Yeah. One of the things that I hear a lot is that, not a lot, I guess I should say, but so many people are holding the flanges to their breast. Like people are like, I don't use a bra. I just like hold them. And I'm like, what?
The next
you don't
time,
have to do that.
The next time they drop a bottle because they were reaching for something, they'll think about that a little bit better that time. I mean, we all have done it, right?
Yeah, and I think the reason I hear people saying, "Well, I feel like my bra isn't holding them tight enough to my breast, like it's kind of sagging," and they feel like it's just not supportive.
Well, my answer to that one is you don't have the right bra for you.
You don't have the right one, yeah.
Yeah, it's not the right one. I would say most women, whether it's before babies or after, you're not probably wearing the right bra size. That's a really common problem that I dealt with even when I was working for Free People in Anthropology and Urban. Most women do not actually know what their bra size is. So one of the things I do with my business is I offer free size consults and I help them pick what's going to be right for their size. It's really important to me to have that support, especially at one of the phases that you struggle at the most is identifying your postpartum body. You don't really know what size you are, and then trying to navigate the problems of nursing and pumping, and then trying to find that right bra. There's just too many things to deal with. And I kind of like to come in as the friendly mom face that helps them solve those problems. And, I have been there and I've breastfed every one of my kids and I had issues every single time. And I feel that this is one thing I can do to give back to new moms now that are experiencing what I did. And so I come in and I talk them through the process, how to measure themselves. And I let them tell me what pump they're going to be using, what their plan is, and I help guide them to the right bra for them. So it's just something I like to do. I'm really passionate about breastfeeding and better fitting bras. So it's a combination of both. But having that mom friend to kind of like help you through making the right decision is something we all need. So I like to be that mom friend now for everyone else.
I think it makes such a difference when you are seeking help from somebody especially in this time when you have a new baby, that you're dealing with somebody who has also been there. That it's another breastfeeding mom.
Yeah. I
It
would
really
say,
makes you feel less vulnerable, I think.
yeah, at this point in my life, I feel like my best friends are all the moms who get it and they have been through
Yeah.
my life. They can relate to me. And I feel like not everyone has that village. I'm really lucky that a lot of my girlfriends growing up all had babies at the same time. And I would say at least 90% of them ended up breastfeeding in some capacity for the first couple months or a year. And some of them ended up, long-term breastfeeding. I breastfed extended breastfeeding with all three of them. I did 2 years with my first, 2.5 with my second, and then I just weaned my third at just over 3 years. And I just feel like I have so much knowledge and so much background in this that being that friend to some new moms that are really nervous about it is like just one of my favorite things to do at this point.
Yeah. And I think so many people somebody might want to breastfeed, somebody wants to do these things, but especially as new moms and you're kind of getting to know your breasts in a whole different way, you feel so like, oh my, someone's going to see my boob and maybe they're going to have to measure me or I'm going to have to, it's like you just feel kind of, some people might feel very uncomfortable with that. And it's okay. Like we're like, it just makes it so much better that you're able to be like, yep, I've had, I've dealt with my boobs too in this way.
Yeah, I think at any time that you can relate to somebody on a topic that is it's not that it's like embarrassing, but it's just a really vulnerable
Exactly. It's just
topic.
really
Like
vulnerable. Yeah.
I know a lot of moms get a little self-conscious of their sizing postpartum. And
Mm.
that's like something that, I'm not here to judge sizing. I'm here to help you find the right size. So when it comes to sizing, so say somebody wears, a size large before you had a baby, right? And then they try to squish themselves into the same bra once their milk comes in. You now have put yourself at risk for clogged ducts and mastitis, and you're not getting good support from that bra anymore. And you potentially are going to have like breast health issues. So you're not doing yourself justice by just squeezing into that pre-pregnancy bra, right? So investing in yourself as a mom postpartum, this is not necessarily going to be just a short-term thing. A lot of moms that end up breastfeeding for 2+ years. I mean, think about all the time that you could have had a better fitting bra and not had to deal with a lot of the issues. And it might sound silly, but having a really great nursing and pumping bra can strongly encourage a better output in your breastfeeding experience. Like all aspects of it could improve if you just are wearing the right tools, using the right things.
I believe it. I mean, people try, throughout your life, think about all the times maybe that you tried to squeeze yourself into those jeans that you wore a couple of years ago. And when you went to the store and you just got yourself a pair of jeans that fit, that it's just like your actual size and how good it feels. This is my actual size. This actually fits. This feels good on my body. And you
There
don't
are a
have to
lot of
squeeze yourself into these things.
Yeah, there are a lot of studies out there about the way our mood is impacted by the way we dress. It affects your mental health, just the way that you perceive yourself and feel good about yourself. So when we talk about issues with postpartum depression and just having support postpartum, if you are uncomfortable in the clothing that you're wearing, it strongly impacts your mental health when you're postpartum as well. Feeling good in your new body, you're changing into motherhood, and just feeling good about yourself strongly impacts your mood and being able to care for this new baby. So I am a big time believer in having really good, well-fitted, quality postpartum recovery, whether it's your postpartum recovery underwear, your bras, your clothing, all of it. Go and get the clothing, because there is nothing worse than trying to squeeze yourself into stuff or try to make things work when they're not really working for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's hard enough. You're sleep deprived. You're trying to go back to work. You're trying to figure it all out. You're sitting at your desk or you're or you're, in a break room somewhere trying to figure out all the pumping. And like you said, it seems like such a small thing, but it can, like having a bra that actually helps you. Also that you don't have to change, you don't have to, you can just wear that, like have to change into a separate pumping situation.
Yeah.
And just being able to use that, it's going to make a huge difference.
Yeah, the one style that I am like a big believer in, my Amelia cami, I actually designed the idea of it. I was driving into the city for work, and I hadn't had a chance to nurse my son before I left. And I had a meeting as soon as I got in. I actually had quickly brought my Haka in the car with me, and I was holding it while driving on the highway, trying to squeeze it and get at least something out before my meeting. And I had thought to myself, wouldn't it be so much easier if I could just like lift up and already have a pumping bra on, and I could have just put it into the bra so I wasn't sitting here holding it and trying to, manually hand pump on my way into the city. And when I got to work, I started like doodling it down in the corner of my papers during the meeting. And that was how I came up with the idea of it. So
Oh my God.
I figured I'm not the only one with this problem, right? Like moms that are commuting to work, we have a deadline. We can't necessarily, like I can't show up at the office at 9 a.m. and go straight to pump. I had to go straight to my meeting. So having a garment that I could use, I know it's controversial pumping while driving, but if that's something that you're comfortable doing, a garment that you could use pumping and driving hands-free, something you could wear under your formal work attire, whatever your business attire is, something that you can quickly use to go to the pump room without having to change, something that you can go home from work and nurse if you are a combo feeder like I was. I didn't want to have to come in the door to get my son and then have to go change in order to nurse. He's basically ripping my shirt off to nurse as soon as I came in. So I just needed more than what was out there in the world. I needed more flexibility, the ability to switch between flanges and wearables. That's now a big time thing. I would say most moms, they don't just have one pump anymore. Most moms are going to have at least 2 different styles of pumps. And if you have to get a different bra for each pump, like there's no way.
No. And I know pumping in the car is controversial, but like honest to God, like if that's a period of time that you actually have in the car before work, it's hard to like, I would take advantage of that.
I
would be like, because I know that's what Diana was always going on about this. She's like, I hate that people have to do that. I want them to be able to relax. And, I hate that people, and it's true. Like we should have longer maternity leave and we should have all of these things, but we don't. And it's a period of time that you can utilize. And I know that people do it because people have actually said, like, oh, I listened to your podcast, like, and I pump on my way to work. And shout out to all the people who are pumping in your car right now.
Right.
It's rough, but it's like, it's a time to take advantage of. And that's when you can't be holding your flange onto your breast.
Exactly.
10 and 2.
I was a big believer in using my collection cups or the wearables while driving so that the flanges were not sticking away from my body and up against the wheel. And I don't know, everyone has a different preference. But what I would do, and that's part of, again, why I try to make all universal bras for both styles of pumps. When I was at the office, I like to use my flanges. But when I was in the car on my commute, and I only worked 30 minutes from home, but I would get stuck in traffic on the bridge commuting. So I would sit there in traffic with my wearables in my cami, and I would pump on my way to daycare to pick up my son. I would quickly take the wearables out when I went in to pick him up at daycare, and then I would take them back home and put all the milk in the fridge. And that was my routine for the whole first 2 years of being a mom. That was my routine. That's how I made it work. So if that's, if you're listening and that's how you make it work too, you're not alone. Like there's a lot of us that have to do it, and utilizing a tool like a combo pumping and nursing bra, get the bra, because it's only going to make your life easier than having to juggle and switch. And then you don't have to go take extra time out of your day that you could be home with your baby.
Yeah. And that Amelia cami has actually won a bunch of awards, right?
Yeah, we were really, really fortunate that we got a lot of great attraction and press, really like right off the start. there were some articles that came out about it because it was like one of the first bras to be designed for wearable pumps. So Babylist had nominated it as the best wearable pump bra of both 2023 and 2024. So honored to even be on their radar.
Yeah,
like
congratulations.
Thank you. I'm like a tiny little small business. Like it's hard to like share what that really looks like, but like we're a super small team of just a couple moms. There's another mom that I had met in breastfeeding group when I first had my son. She is my like warehouse manager and she does all the fulfillment for me. And then I handle all the like marketing and social media and stuff. So it's like, we're really tiny, but there's just been a lot of eyes on the business because not a lot of companies have somebody that's actually been through the motherhood. Like we're not owned by some corporate dude. Like it's just like two breastfeeding moms, just like, and I'm the owner and then I have the one other mom and we get it. And like, we talk the moms through whether it's the size consults or the product and, you know, how to best get them the right things. But it's just a couple moms running this small business, helping other moms get the right bras. So we definitely got some really amazing awards and attention. And we actually also were one of the only companies that we have our pumping and nursing bra as a swimsuit top too. And the reason I did that was because do we stop pumping in the summer when our kids are in the pool, you know? Like, no. So a lot of moms were using my bra in the water. And it kind of was like, okay, well, if you're going to wear it in the water, I might as well make it an actual swimsuit fabric for you. So we won an award for the Parents' Choice Award for our pumping and nursing swim top version because it allows moms to nurse or pump seamlessly while you're at the beach, at the pool, water park with your other kids, whatever you need to do. You can do it easily with the swim version.
That's really cool. And I hear full disclosure, I absolutely hate bras. Like we're talking about these bras, you know, a struggle to find a comfortable bra when you're, you know, a new parent, when you're pumping, when you're nursing. I can't find one and I don't nurse anymore or pump or anything. I hate them with a passion. I very rarely wear them. I'm not wearing one right now. I don't know when, you know, maybe in the summer when I have, you know, not a lot of clothes on or something. And what I do usually is I'll wear a swimsuit top because I just find them more comfortable.
I bet I could change your mind.
Yeah, I know. I need to try some of these bras. I even got to the point where I was like, I think that parents, especially women, breastfeeding women have put so much attention into like finding bras and trying to make them more comfortable. I'm like, I'm just going to buy like a nursing bra because I feel like it's gotten more attention. You know, it's gotten more care and attention lately than all the other bras. And that leads me to this other story where this was before I had kids, but I used to shop at Victoria's Secret all the time and get, you know, the stupid Lacey's not stupid. Lacey's amazing. But like all of those like very poorly designed
bombshell, sexy. I know what you mean.
All of those. And I went in one day and I was like, I need some help because I was wearing, you know, I'd always had the same size bra, but I just started to get uncomfortable. Like I felt like the band was like a little too tight. Like I just wanted something different. So I went in and I was like, can you check my size? Because I'm just starting to feel like uncomfortable and like maybe it's a little too tight. So she did my size and she was like, no, Nick, you're 34C. That's your size. And I was like, yeah, I know that's what I wear, but like, it just feels a little tight. And I want something else. Like, can you maybe like, I don't know, just help me like find a different something. And she was like, well, that's your size. Literally, that was the end of the conversation. And I was like, okay,
no,
thanks. That's really helpful.
I'll tell you, that's not how I do my size consults.
I'm sure.
No, we don't even size that way. We don't do standard cup sizes like that because I have no idea. And again, no one else knows what size they are. We measure just by inches and each bra has a range associated with it. And I will say I have changed up and down 40 plus pounds since I had my first son. I'm still wearing the same size Amelia cami that I was when I was pregnant. They are so adjustable and just so accommodating that you can change change a range of size and still fit into the same size. It's just saves you a lot of headache. And there are, of course, moms that have to size up or down if they lose a lot of weight postpartum. But
Sure.
for the most part, can you imagine if someone be a 34C in the morning and then maybe at night they're a 34A? It's like, you don't know what it's going to be like. Like, you can't wear. That's why I don't do wires and sizes and like that. It's just it's not feasible for this phase of life for us.
No, and I can't wait to get. I'm going to get a couple bras from you, and I can report back. But it's like a wire. It's like underwire, squeezing your boobs in the weird positions and hurting, or it's like a really loose, unstructured kind of like bra / sports bra kind of. What do they call those?
It's like the seamless ones that they're the most common.
And it's just like, and I have my closet is filled with this nonsense, trying to find something that is comfortable for me at this point in my life. And it's like, I'm like, who is doing this?
I know. I can't tell you how many times I've had emails from moms that say, I have a drawer filled of junky Amazon stuff that I wish that I never bought, and I wish I found you sooner. It's kind of the thing where a lot of us think, let me just get the cheap bra and I'll just do the nursing bra hack, right? Where you use the inside part of the nursing bra to hold the pump. And if that bra hack works for you, great. But I would say, more than not, it doesn't actually work. Maybe it's pushing your nipple to the wrong side of the bra. It's not actually aligning where you want it to go. And that's one of the things I focus on big time is, what's the natural nipple placement? A lot of pumping bras on the market have a really odd placement for where the flange goes. And you'd actually have to push your breast into the right spot to get it to align. And every woman's anatomy is different. So not to say that what I make is going to be perfect for everybody, but we go with a actual real mom models. We don't use like catalog models or anything. Like, we use real moms, and we test it on a lot of different body shapes and sizes to make sure that that nipple placement is at the most natural nipple placement for you, so that you're not trying to force it into a position where it doesn't want to go. But overall, if you invest in something that's actually quality, you probably won't have a drawer full of wasted junk that's just sitting there. It's a better choice to just get a few things that work really well for you, and then you can use them through not just one, but multiple breastfeeding journeys. And what we also do is we don't use the plastic clips, so they don't actually look like nursing bras. So every single thing can be repurposed as an everyday bra when you're done. Most of my moms will continue wearing them postpartum and well beyond their breastfeeding days.
Yeah, that's really great, because that's my downfall, I think, is I've always just been like, oh, I'll just get the cheap one. It's fine. I'll just get the cheap one. And then it falls apart, or it doesn't work, or it's just, it gets really old really fast and stretched out. And then I end up spending, so then I get another one and then another one. And then you end up spending more money
in the long run.
Anyway, if you'd just gotten that one that you probably could have used for the next 10 years.
Yeah, most people will end up with maybe 2 to 3 of my camis, and they'll just cycle through them over and over again, and it'll last them the entire time, and then into their next pregnancy. And everything also can be worn while pregnant. They're all maternity friendly too. So it's really like a product that's universal through all stages of motherhood. It's not just something that you think only while I'm breastfeeding. And what if I don't end up breastfeeding and I bought all this stuff? Well, you can wear it as a regular bra afterwards. That's why we don't use nursing clips. So there's a lot of factors that go into it that I try to think of everything.
Yes. And having been through it, you probably have thought of everything, which is fantastic. I know you said you mentioned a corporate dude before, and I talk about this with Diane sometimes. And of course, we've worked with plenty of, men who own companies, and they're good companies and whatever. But I'm always like, when somebody will say like, oh, you want to work together, with the podcast, and it's like a guy at a pump company. And I'm like, what? I'm like, like, okay, this always makes me laugh. I'm like, well, I'm not going to interview on the podcast or anything.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's not the end all be all, but I particularly like when you can talk with someone who has been through it personally themselves.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference. I cannot imagine, even if I was not a mom, I can't imagine accurately designing nursing and pumping bras if I've never been through it. I
way.
don't think it would ever work. And maybe that's why a lot of the bras on the market don't actually work, because did they ever actually breastfeed with it?
Yeah. Right. And I think there's so many men who are just in charge of all of these companies. How would they know?
They don't.
They
just
don't. And then there would be no way that they could possibly know.
Yeah.
Do you have, go ahead, keep talking. Tell us more.
No, I was just going to say that I think that is my superpower here in being able to relate to the customer, the community. I get it. I understand it. I've been through it, and it makes a huge difference. I also stay up to date on pumping technology. So I work with a lot of the pump companies directly, and I get samples of the pumps. I've been working with Motif lately. They have a lot of new pumps on the market. Yeah. So I personally used the Motif Luna the last time that I was pumping, and I am testing out one of their new wearables, the Aura Glow. And they sent me a couple other ones, but I do that because pump technology is evolving every single day. I can't tell you how many pumps are out there right now. Everything is always changing. And a lot of these brands, not going to name drop, I'm not here to hate on anybody else, but a lot of the other brands, they do not stay up to date on pumping technology. That is kind of something that I do, so that I make sure that I have a bra for every type of pump, every version of pump, whether it's going to be a largemouth flange or a small narrow flange. Plastic or silicone makes a big difference. All of these wearables now are all different shapes and sizes. Like the Willows of the world are enormous. A lot of the mom cozies are very different shapes. Some of them have a large motor on top. Some of them have a bigger depth to them. There's so many variables, and not every bra is going to fit every pump. So I try to really fine tune that detail and make sure that I have something for everyone.
That's really cool. And if you are, obviously, since you've made it this far, you're totally interested in checking out the collection of Amanda's, which you can find at Davin and Adley. What is the Davin and Adley? Where did that name come from?
That's always a good question. So I am a proud boy mom of 3, and I always thought I was going to have baby girls because I'm the fashion guru that went to fashion school, and I do not have any baby girls. So if my boys had been girls, their names until we knew they were boys, were supposed to be Davin and Adley. So I ended up, I had to use them one way or the other. So
they're such cool names.
I named the business after the girls that I don't have, but and Amelia is actually the third name, and that's the name of the one, Cammie. So I get to use them because this is my feminine creative outlet, since my mom life is all about cars and trucks and baseball and all of the boy stuff. I get to use all of my feminine, beautiful little girl names for my business.
That is the sweetest story of the name of a company I've ever heard. I absolutely love that. And I want to invite all of the badasses listening to please visit Davin and Adley's website to see Amanda's entire collection. It is Davin, Davin, and A-N-D, Adley, ADLEY.com. And you can check out the entire collection of the bras and the camis. And while you're there, be sure to use code BADASS for 15% off of your order. And you can take advantage of the free size consultations that Amanda was telling us about. Again, that is code BADASS for 15% off of your purchase. And the direct link to the website and the promo code information are in the show notes under this episode, wherever you're listening from. And thank you again, Amanda, so much for being here. And thanks for listening. And see you later. Bye.